Hello and welcome to an album a day, day 90, going through my vinyl collection. Today I am dressed more like Obi-Wan Kenobi, I think, than anything else because it is still, we're still in the middle of a freeze warning here. We did get some snow yesterday in my area, not quite as much as some of the other areas got, which looks like about 10 to 12 inches. We got, I think, 3 or 4 over by me. But still I'm not quite acclimated to all this, so I'm a little more dressed like Ben Kenobi if Ben Kenobi wore glasses. I don't think he did. But I haven't seen The Mandalorian, so I have no idea where his character was headed. In any case, today, talking about the first release of a band that came after another band, but would lead to yet another band, or band as a solo artist. And I'm talking about, of course, the 1984 release from Samhain, Initium. I think this album cover sucks. Not one that I really care for. I think all of their other album covers were much better than this. But, you know, you have to start somewhere. This certainly gave the idea that this was a pretty serious punk band. But, I mean, you know, if you know that Glenn Danzig, coming from the Misfits, going into another band, is going to be doing something, you could probably guess, you know, the style of music. So, I don't know. The album cover seems a little bit over the top. I love November Coming Fire. That's one of my favorite all-time album covers. I miss my shirt of that. I had a shirt that I wore all the way, I want to say, through a good chunk of my senior year in high school. Eventually, there was just nothing left of it. So it wasn't even like I gave it away. There was just like, it was in tatters. But this is a fantastic album. Now, this album, like I said, came out in '84. I think I've narrowed down my copy to 2020 as a mint green vinyl. This release from Plan 9 and Caroline Records. In great shape, 180 gram, can't complain about that, and it sounds fantastic. You know, you really don't want punk music to be like all cleaned up and pristine and all that. I think that's one of the things I didn't like about Danzig as much, as that it sounded very studio recorded, whereas the Misfits, Samhain, they sounded, you know, we threw this together on a 4-track. It's got a good mix, but it's not, you know, crystal clean and all that. I really prefer that for punk music. It just kind of seems to go with it. But in any case, you get what you get. Now, on the back, we have this lovely drawing here, song list. And I don't know if the cards specifically have a significance, all aces with a joker, or the death card. So there's like a regular deck of cards and then a tarot deck of cards mixed in together. Again, it doesn't make sense. Love this logo. This logo will be a staple in their environment. But on the album, we've got Glenn Danzig on guitar and vocals. We have Eerie Von on bass and Steve Zing on drums. Mike Gutilla on chimes. Lyle Preslar, lead guitar on tracks 3, 5, 7, and 8. And recorded at Real Platinum, Lodi, New Jersey, and engineered by Bob Alecca, Allecca. Alecca, I hope that's pronounced right. But it is PL9-04, which I think was the initial release was under that. It's kind of weird because no matter what the release, it seems like they kept the same record number. They didn't change it, which, I don't know, I think that probably would have been more helpful for collectors. But if you find like original first press copies of Initium, you could be looking at upwards of $400 to $500. So this is definitely not that. Plus, I don't think there was an initial run in green vinyl. But we got some killer tracks. Now, Initium's kind of, if this were a concept album or a movie, would make a lot more sense. It's really just kind of a tone setter, not just for the album, but I think for the band on the whole. The song Samhain, fantastic. Black Dream, killer, one of my favorites, one of the first cover songs I ever did. All Murder, All Guts, All Fun. That's not out there for public consumption, I don't believe, because it's my vocal is terrible on it. The music was completely different, a lot more lighthearted, really, but the same tempo, if that helps. Mac Bree, as it's pronounced in the song, or Macabre. He Who Cannot Be Named, excellent song. Twist of Cain, which you would later see on Danzig's first album, I think. He redid that. Horror Biz, which was a cover from the Misfits. The Shift, excellent song. The Howl, excellent song. And my favorite on the album, Archangel, love that song. That one really seems a little bit more, I want to say Elvis influenced, because it's a little bit more bluesy, but it's a really cool song, and normally the end of the album. However, this copy is really more of an extended edition because it also has Possession and Trouble on it, which I believe were both songs that would appear on the first Danzig album, I want to say. But the original cassette that I had ended with Archangel on side B. Killer song to end it with. And then on November Coming Fire, it was Human Pony Girl, which was the one that just kind of went on for a long time and went into that fade that just makes you want to chase it and find out where that song went. But all killer tracks on this album. I remember I really got into it when I first got it, which was living in Colorado Springs. And then when I moved to Denver to go to audio engineering school, this was one of the tapes that I just kept in the car because I listened to it many days on my way to and from work, which was at 7-Eleven on West Colfax, working the graveyard shift, where I spent far more time writing police reports than I ever did doing any work. Don't know what that area is like now, but it is down the street from Casa Bonita, which is the restaurant featured in South Park that Trey Parker and Matt Stone would go on to purchase and currently own, the last I heard. But this is a killer album. If you want to get into some really dark punk and check out what Glenn Danzig was all about in 1984, this would be the album for you. Absolutely killer. Initium. See you guys tomorrow. Cheers.